Cheating wife was waiting to mock her poor husband on divorce day. But his arrival shocked everyone. Have you ever witnessed a moment where justice wasn't served, but earned? Where the tables turned so dramatically, it rewrote the entire story. Today, we bring you the shocking conclusion to a marriage that was poisoned by deceit, entitlement, and the quiet suffering of a truly good man. Meet Sarah and Elias. A few years ago, they seemed like the perfect couple. But behind the closed doors of their expensive home, a home Elias paid for with years of relentless, underappreciated work, Sarah was plotting her escape and her revenge. Sarah saw Elias as her paycheck, not her partner. She mocked his simple clothes, his humble car, and his quiet focus on his work, which she deemed beneath her. She convinced herself she deserved better, and that better came in the form of Richard, a flashy, wealthy acquaintance who offered her the immediate glamour she craved. Elias knew. He knew about the affair. He knew about the mocking. But he stayed silent, not out of weakness, but because he was working towards a plan that culminated today, divorce day. Sarah was ready. She had her sharp lawyer, her designer outfit, and a look of smug superiority, eager to drain his bank account and leave him with nothing but his worn-out tie. But Elias had a secret that, when revealed, would not just shake the courtroom, but serve a lesson to anyone who confuses quiet effort with weakness. Stay with us. You will not believe what happened. When the poor husband finally walked through that door, courtroom lobby, Sarah, dressed impeccably, sips expensive bottled water, talking to her shark lawyer, David. Sarah, snickering honestly, David. I almost feel bad. Almost. Look at the time. He's probably riding here on the bus. This is going to be quick and simple. Elias never fought for anything. He's too much of a meek little mouse. David, her lawyer, smug, adjusting his tie, he won't stand a chance. Sarah, we have documentation of his modest income. We'll argue for a significant share of the marital assets, that house, and a hefty spousal support. You deserve it after sacrificing your prime years for a man who couldn't keep up. Sarah, eyes narrowing in contempt. Exactly. I tried to tell him to upgrade. His company, that ridiculous little software firm. It never made real money. He just works. Boring. Look at this man. She gestures to a well-dressed man across the room. That's the caliber I deserve. Richard will be here soon, by the way, just for moral support. Sarah checks her phone, sees a message from Richard about parking his luxury car, emphasizing the arrogance. Sarah was so consumed by her entitlement. She couldn't see the depth of Elias's commitment. She confused his humility with poverty. Her friends, also waiting, gathered around, adding fuel to her fire. Friend one, whispering, but loud enough to be heard, you are so brave. Sarah, you're finally going to be free of that drag. Friend two, I heard he drives the same beat-up car he had in college. Imagine. He probably can't even afford his own lawyer. Sarah, smiling, basking in the attention. Oh, he has a lawyer. A cheap one, I'm sure. I told him not to bother. He'll just hand over the assets and disappear. It's what he's good at. Disappearing. The minutes ticked by. Sarah and her entourage were getting impatient, their mocking remarks growing louder. They were waiting for a man to arrive, defeated and ashamed, ready to sign away his life's work. A fancy black sedan, Richard's car, pulls up to the curb. Richard, overly confident, steps out and joins Sarah. Richard, kissing Sarah on the cheek, morning, beautiful. All set to shed the dead weight? My driver can take us straight to lunch afterward. Did the poor guy even show? Sarah, beaming, he's late. Typical. But he'll be here. He knows how much I want that house. Let's head inside. It's time to collect. Sarah, Richard, and David walk toward the courtroom doors, full of swagger. The camera stays focused on the entrance. The clock hit the designated time. Sarah was ready to call for a default judgment, to declare him a no-show and claim victory. But just as her lawyer was about to open the door, a sound echoed through the sterile halls. The faint, deep, unmistakable sound of a high-end luxury vehicle pulling up outside, followed by the heavy, authoritative closing of a car door. Everyone turns. It wasn't the sound of Elias's sputtering old sedan. It was the sound of power. Sarah and her crew exchanged confused looks. Sarah, whispering to David, "Who is that? Is that the judge arriving?" A sharp, impeccably dressed man in an Italian suit walks into the lobby. He looks authoritative and wealthy. He is flanked by two serious-looking people, a man holding a briefcase and a woman with an official tablet. "Richard," to Sarah. Dismissively, "Must be some big-shot executive here for a corporate merger. Don't worry about it." The man turns. It is Elias, but completely transformed. He looks healthier, sharper, and utterly confident. His eyes are clear and resolute. It was Elias, but not the Elias they knew. The quiet mouse had transformed into a lion. His clothing was tailored, his presence commanded attention, and the two people with him were clearly not a cheap lawyer. Sarah's and Richard's faces, total, utter shock. David, the lawyer, looks intrigued and concerned. Sarah, stammering, "Elias? What are you wearing? Where did you get that suit?" Elias, calmly, without even looking at Sarah. He addresses David, Sarah's lawyer. "Good morning. Mr. David. Shall we go in? My legal counsel is ready." Ms. Chen, Elias's lawyer, sharp. "Professional Mr. David. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ms. Chen, and this is Mr. Davies, our financial analyst. We represent Mr. Elias Reynolds. We have a rather extensive, revised statement of assets to present today." The judge enters. Everyone is seated. The tension is palpable. The judge called the case. Sarah was still reeling, unable to compute the new reality of Elias. Her confidence was already cracking. David, Sarah's lawyer, trying to regain control. "Your Honor, we are seeking a fair division of marital assets, including the marital home, and..." Ms. Chen, Elias's lawyer, cutting in politely but firmly. "With all due respect, Your Honor, we have a motion to present regarding the classification and valuation of assets. Mr. David's assessment is based on a fundamental and material misunderstanding of Mr. Reynolds's financial standing and business structure." Ms. Chen hands a large binder to the judge and one to David. David, scoffing as he opens the binder, "I'm sure it's just creative accounting." "Your Honor." Close up on David's face as he reads the first page. His jaw drops. The truth was revealed. The reason Elias drove the old car and wore simple clothes wasn't because his small software firm was failing. It was because he was following an aggressive, hyper-conservative business strategy to reinvest 95% of all profits back into the company's growth, keeping his personal salary modest for tax purposes and maximum long-term capitalization. Ms. Chen, Your Honor, Mr. Reynolds's company, which he started from scratch 4 years ago, had a modest personal income during the marriage, yes, but its actual valuation this year, following the acquisition of a major competitor and securing a key international patent, is not the small firm figure they expected. As of 2 weeks ago, following its silent IPO, the company is valued at just over $800 million. Sarah physically recoils. Richard looks like he's been slapped. Elias maintains a calm, focused gaze. Elias wasn't poor. He was a multimillionaire, on the cusp of becoming a billionaire, working quietly while Sarah mocked him and cheated on him, convinced he was a failure. David, stuttering, pointing to the binder, "But the house is a marital asset." Elias, speaking for the first time, his voice calm and strong. "I paid for the house entirely, and I signed the deed over to my mother's trust 2 years ago, just before the affair started. I have been paying her rent since then. The house is not part of the marital estate." Sarah bursts into tears of rage and disbelief. Elias had protected his assets perfectly and legally, predicting Sarah's greed. But the final, most devastating blow was yet to come. Ms. Chen, furthermore, "Your Honor, we have evidence, including text messages and bank records, proving Sarah's financial and emotional relationship with Richard, since the marriage has dissolved due to Sarah's documented infidelity, and given that Elias kept his assets separate and reinvested the majority of his earnings into the business, a premarital asset. Our analysis suggests Sarah is entitled to nothing beyond a basic Statutory minimum. Richard immediately stands up and backs away from Sarah. Richard, to Sarah, voice cold, wait, you're not getting the house? You're not getting his money? Sarah, crying, Richard, don't listen to them. Richard, gathering his things. Looking disgusted, I'm not sticking around for this train wreck. Goodbye, Sarah. Richard storms out, leaving Sarah alone, defeated and humiliated. Elias leaves the courtroom, head held high. Sarah is left alone with her stunned lawyer. The court ruled in favor of Elias. The smug, cheating wife walked away with the bare minimum, a fraction of what she expected, and the deep, public humiliation of being abandoned by her lover the moment she stopped being a potential source of wealth. Elias gets into his luxury car, which had been discreetly parked, and drives away. Elias's quiet arrival, the new suit, the top legal team, it wasn't about showing off. It was the result of years of discipline, sacrifice, and strategic planning while his wife was focused on shallow consumption and deceit. This story gives us 3 powerful lessons. 1. Never mistake quiet effort for weakness. Elias proved that the hardest work is often done in silence, away from the spotlight. People who brag about their success are often chasing it. People who are truly successful are often building it. Respect the quiet worker. 2. Character is the real asset. Sarah chose temporary glamour and deceit. Elias chose integrity and focused effort. In the end, Elias's character was the foundation for his success, while Sarah's lack of it was her ultimate downfall. 3. Karma doesn't just hit. It delivers a contract. Sarah was waiting to mock her poor husband one last time. Instead, she received a brutal lesson in consequences. What you put out into the world, greed, arrogance, or humble effort, will eventually come back to you. Elias finally found true freedom, not just from a failed marriage, but from the burden of proving his worth to a shallow partner. He walked in, not to fight, but to close a chapter on a life he had already outgrown. What do you think about Elias's secret strategy? Have you ever witnessed a major, shocking turn of events like this? Let us know in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe for more emotional stories, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive into life-changing moments. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next story.